February 14th at 7:30 p.m. The first order of business is I'd like everyone to, let's have a moment of silence for the children from Parkland, Florida that died a year ago today, and hopefully something comes out of those deaths. Those children died for no reason whatsoever. So if you could have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. All right, first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I need a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Mr. Hess, seconded by Mr. Salvatore. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it, 7-0. Next is the consent agenda. We have item A, approval of minutes from the regular meeting of January 10th, 2019, the special meeting of February 6th, 2019. B, the approval of minutes from the executive session from 1/10/2019, executive session of February 6th, 2019. We have the enrollment report for February 1st, 2019, the school police report from January 1st, 2019, and the residency truancy report from February 1st, 2019. I need a motion to approve, or anyone here have any discussion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Hess.
Second.
Second by Mr. Salvatore. All in favor? Ayes have it, 7-0. Next is the report out of the executive session meeting. Under item A, report out of the executive session meeting on 12/13/2018. We previously reported this out at our last meeting in January. The school committee took a vote on December 13th to withdraw from the Northern Rhode Island Collaborative. We couldn't disclose that at the time because of negotiations and litigation. So we are putting this on the agenda tonight to make it official, even though we told you in January that we voted 7-0 to withdraw from the Rhode Island, Northern Rhode Island Collaborative. So that's the minutes for that. I need a motion to seal the minutes from executive session on item number A for 12/13/2018.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hess. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Waters. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, 6-0. Please note for the record that Mr. Fiorello is not here tonight. Next is a vote report out of executive session meetings for February 14th, 2019. Report out. There were no votes taken during executive session. I need a motion to seal the minutes.
Motion to seal the minutes.
Motion by Mrs. Waters. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Hess. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. I think we'll get home quick enough to our spouses for Valentine's Day. All right, next is superintendent's report, CHS pool update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everyone. For this evening, our superintendent is attending a national conference in California, and he had asked if Mr. Pignano could come and do a CHS pool update. So, Mr. Pignano, please.
Good evening, everyone. I gave a little handout to people earlier, so if you want to read along with me, I'll give you a little update where we are. The work is winding down at the pool. The pool duct has been installed. Both the supply and return duct is now 100% new. The new pool pack HVAC unit has been installed on the roof along with a heat exchanger and glycol in the system to safeguard against freeze-ups. The new pool pack unit, which heats the air in the room, was started on January 24th, 2019, and has been in operation since, maintaining the room at 84 degrees. The Lochner pool water heater was installed on January 5th, and with water back in the pool on 2/11, the startup commenced on 2/13. It'll take approximately a week to get the pool water from 55 degrees street temperature to a needed 80 to 84 degrees required for swimming. The pool pack unit will maintain a 2-degree air temperature over the water, a 2-degree air temperature over the water to minimize evaporation, which will save on water costs and chemicals. In addition to the work done by E&E System, the district cleaned and repaired dirty and damaged tile grout while the pool was empty. The district also purchased new LED lighting for the pool area, which will be being installed, I believe, this week, and has painted and refinished the walking surface and walls around the pool. Improvements have also been made in the locker rooms. We have new ceiling tiles in there. We've repainted it. We've replaced tile, and we're having someone come in to clean the grout in there to try to bring those floors back to looking new. So I think, you know, Cumberland's one of, I think, 2 districts that have a pool. And if we're going to have a pool, I think what we've done, restoring the pool to something that everyone can be proud of, was a good move, and something that, through emergency request to ride, will receive either 45 or 65% reimbursement on, depending on when we hire, you know, our owner's rep that's going to manage our $83 million bond project at some time. So there'll be a good portion of this $450,000 approval that RIDE gave us will be coming back to the district. So I think we've talked about maybe a grand opening in March, but I think Bob wanted the swim team to be the first team to go in, you know, the first people to go in, and excuse me. So we just want to firm up that date, make sure everything. I think we want to have everything done before we open it. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions in regards to the pool? I urge you all to walk over and take a look when you can. It's the difference between night and day. It's, you know, the grime is gone, so to speak, and I think it'll do well for the town. Thank you. Next on our agenda is report of standing committees, payment of bills.
Okay, so fiscal did meet this evening, and the administration submitted a request for payment of bills in the amount of $3,386,742.03, and I would make a motion to approve that.
Mr. Hess moves passage of payment of bills in the amount of $3,386,742.03. Do I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Salvatore. Is there any questions in regards to payment of bills? I need a vote to approve payment. Yes, sir. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 6-0 with Mr. Fiorello absent. Next is Fiscal Management Subcommittee update.
Okay, so in addition to payment of bills, we had discussion about the business office monthly reports. Alex gave us an update on the budget. Currently, we are projecting that special ed will go over estimates by about $300,000, and healthcare right now is projected at about $750,000 over what we had budgeted. So these are areas that we're keeping an eye on. The hope is that other positive budget variances will allow us to have a balanced budget at the end of the year, but it's certainly something that we're keeping an eye on. Healthcare is always a difficult number to pin down year to year. In addition to that, we had an update about facilities projects that were completed over the summer. We got a nice package from Will to Jesus showing us all of the different projects that were done to improve the buildings over the summer. A lot of great work that was done. In addition, one of the projects was to mitigate water issues that we had at Garvin, and Will reported that that has been successful, that we have not had any water issues following that work. In addition to that, Alex brought up the recurring issue of outstanding bills for the meal plan. Since implementing a new policy about meal plan payments, our overage in that area has gone up roughly sixfold. So right now we're looking at a $60,000 receivable in parents and students that owe us money for meals that they have not yet paid for. So it's an area of concern for us. Obviously, that's not an insignificant amount of money. We are pursuing various avenues to get reimbursed, but it's something that we need to keep an eye on. In addition to that, we also discussed a SCR 2019-03, which I believe will come up later on the meeting, which is the support for a solar power purchase agreement that the town has entered into. That did pass upstairs on a 3-0 vote.
Thank you, Mr. Hess. Next on the agenda is Policy and Procedure Subcommittee. And Mr. Fiorello is not here. I know his meeting got canceled on Tuesday because of the weather. So he's having another meeting on next Tuesday. Next is Achievement and Communication Subcommittee update.
The Achievement and Communication Subcommittee met tonight, and we had one single agenda item, and that was to look at the budget needed to support the district's academic and achievement goals. We were especially pleased that Mayor Mutter was in attendance to hear Mr. Devana clearly and excellently lay out what we want to achieve from in our academic results across the high school, across the middle schools, and at the elementary school level, and laid out a plan that would get us there and the related budget needed to do that. So this was great information for us to have as we enter budget season and as we look at the various options put in front of us as a schools committee to make some likely difficult decisions about where we want to take achievement for the schools. Our next meeting is March 12th, and it will be focused on achievement data at the high school.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is comments for the public. Before we go on, I'd like to welcome Mayor Mother to the meeting for the first time, and we have Councilor Kinch in the background as well, the school liaison from the town council, and former member Bill Denon here. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Mother.
Well, is this on? Yeah, good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just on the comments from the public, I was unaware that SCR 2019-03 was in front of Finance tonight. So I would ask you to not take action on that particular initiative. We're not ready to approve that. There's been some changes, so I would just ask you to hold off on that for right now. Sorry about that. Thanks.
Is there anyone else, comments from the public? Hearing none is under new business. Mayor Jeffrey Mutter to address the school committee.
Well, I just wanted to be procedurally correct. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the school committee, and Assistant Superintendent DeMotter, and Mr. Adams, who is good to see is still a mainstay on the committee. Like a good referee, you never know he's there when he's doing a great job. So I'm going to bounce around a little bit because that's just kind of how I do it. So, it's been like 35 or 40 days since I have assumed the position, and as I think about it, and obviously I've been looking through the budget and other assorted things that you do in that position, and there's town master lease, there's school master lease, there's town debt service, there's school debt service. And so, as I think about that, and it's been around, while I've been there, but when I think about that, it's kind of like, that, people want to define us into these roles as if we're different. And I know we have different roles, but, we all live in town, we all use the same services. Most of us will have children in the school department, and so, understanding that we do have different roles, I think politically, it's always advantageous for somebody to define you or attempt to define you in those roles, and then to a lot of people, it's just a game, and we just happen to be the playing pieces right now. So I'm actually asking you to kind of push that aside for a little bit because, I think we're all trying to get to the same place. We all know that we need a strong school system, and we all have our, I call them challenges in a way, but, there's always going to be a challenge. There's always going to be something that, we need to come up with a solution for. And I really don't think that there is anything that we can't overcome, that we can't solve. So, and I do want to say that, in order, I do want to thank Mr. Prignano and the school department, who was very helpful in an RFP process for the town senior center. And if all goes well and we've dotted the i's and crossed the t's, we might actually have a resolution for at least part of that project on Wednesday night. And, honestly, without that, we wouldn't be there for Wednesday night. So I appreciate the efforts of Mr. Prignano and Sodexo. And then tonight, I was privileged to be with Chairperson Friedman's Achievement Committee with Mr. Damana. And, honestly, I didn't say that was the best presentation I've seen in 22 years, because I knew I was going to come and ask you for something tonight, even though it might look like that. But that's because it was. And, it's a shame that we've got bloggers and all the other distractions that we can either choose to listen to or not choose to listen to when good stuff is happening and you never hear about it. So that was really good stuff. So I know it's because I was kind of, Mr. Chairman, I really didn't, say why I was going to be here. It's really not about initiatives. It's about one initiative, and it's about Diamond Hill Park. So that's one of our resources, and I mean that, collectively, that I think we can, do a better job with, and I think that we have a lot of activities there. A lot of townspeople, visit there and use the ski lodge and the facilities. And so one of, our initiatives is to make that a better space. And so I have to turn over every rock. So I want you to know right up front, can't be done. I'm okay with that. But I have to ask. So there was a $300,000 state funding source that that was disclosed somewhere right after the primary. I don't remember the exact date, and I'm looking for partners to match that. And so on Wednesday night, next Wednesday night, I'll be in front of the council to ask them to partner with that as well. And because we think we have some exciting things potentially happening there, and we're going to open it up to a public visionary sessions and things like that to see what we can do there. But we're going to need some seed money to get that started. We do have an RFP going out for a grant writer, which I think is long overdue on our side. So those are things, like I said, I'm just bouncing around because that's what I do. But so tonight, I'm really asking for you to find a way, if possible. And look, you have budgetary challenges. We have budgetary challenges, although, like I say, it's not you and us or us. It's not. It's all of us, right? And we're going to solve them, and we're going to make a plan to get us to the place we want to be. I'm just asking you to think about ways you could possibly partner in that initiative. There is some symbolism there. I do not want the town, school housing aid. I do not want any reimbursement for us to take that. I mean, to me, that's a take, and I'm not about taking. We'll receive a gift, but we're not going to take it. So I know that you have legislative hurdles to potentially take it out of your fund balance. I am not going to, that's your deal. I'm just on a National Grid money. That check finally came in, or those checks finally came in that have been promised like about, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 times for various reasons. Well, they did come in. It was going to go to the levy. Well, actually, it was used to reduce the levy, but it actually never came in. And then it was going to be put to your your maintenance of effort, but it never came in. Finally came in, January 15th. So I'm going to ask the council, I don't know, maybe they're going to say no, but I'm going to ask them. So all I am asking you is to use all your resources and your collective energy. Perhaps you could count on Mr. Prignano, who's been known to make things happen. And, you could let me know. So I don't know if you have any questions, but that's what the main thing right now is that's, and I just wanted to get in front of, I will be asking, I know Councilor Kinch is here, and he doesn't know that the agenda is closed on Thursday, and so he hasn't seen it yet, but I'm giving an advance notice it's going to be on there.
Well, I mean, Mr. Mutter, I think everyone here that, does live in the town wants to see Diamond Hill Park certainly better. The ski lodge building is old and decrepit. The stage is gone as well, and if we can make it happen, I think we can find consensus here to make it work. We'll have Mr. Prignano and the superintendent talk to RIDE as well, because they, like I said, there could be some hurdles that we have to overcome in regards to helping the town. I heard you say it the other day, and they're in that YouTube video that the two bloggers made about wanting to walk around Town Hall, and you said, it's the public's building, it's yours. I mean, it's, so, and that, the money's ours. It's not the school department's money, it's the town's money. The town people put it in, and we can help make it work, we'll make it work. So we'll get working on that and see what we can do to help you out. Mr. Salvatore, you want to?
Mr. Chair, yes. Mayor Mutter, I agree with you 100%. Sorry, this microphone's really loud. I will help to push this initiative within the school department and the school committee members to help drive, to see where we can find this money, how we can get you the money, and how we can also be part of this community with the town on your initiative. So I back you 100%.
I don't think I heard an official ask, though. What are you asking, the figure?
What are you offering? Well, the state funding was for $300,000, and that money is not in the town coffers. That is held by, I think it's DEM, and it can only be used for capital. So it can't be used for any planning. So the National Grid money was 2 checks. I believe the amount was just shy of 300. I think it was 297 something. I mean, honestly, anything. If you could match that, that's a great thing. If not, I understand. It's just, I think that for a long time, there has been, I mean, since the beginning of political time, right? There's always been this divide them, and then it's a political weapon. School funding, the town, all that kind of stuff. And, it's going to stay that way until we take a shot to try to change it. And so it's a little bit of a leap. I get it. And, there will be some that say, well, if it comes from your fund balance, you really didn't need it. There'll be all sorts of reasons and all sorts of, comments made in places that you won't know who made them, right? But, my feeling is always, when you read those comments and you know they're true, that's when they stick with you. The rest of them, part of the deal.
Yeah.
It's part of the
Well,
deal.
as a citizen and a parent here in Cumberland, I 100% support fixing up Diamond Hill Park. I don't know about anybody else, but it's an embarrassment when we go to other towns who have these beautiful facilities, North Kingstown and Smithfield, beautiful, beautiful parks where our kids play soccer, lacrosse. And then when you come to Cumberland, you're bumping down the driveway and the parking lot is just in shambles. I'm 100% supportive of doing whatever we can do.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Mutter, as I had listened to Mr. Crowley make a presentation one day about the recreation fields, the schools have first dibs on every field in town, and then everyone else comes behind us. And this is just like anything else, we need Diamond Hill State Park, or actually park, looking the way it should be done and, in a healthy manner as well. So we have first dibs, and I'm sure if something happens there, the school department will be looking to use that facility as well, so we'll work with it. Anyone else have any comments?
Thank you.
Oops. Next is item B, vote on teacher non-renewal dismissal recommendations. Mrs. Friedman is going to handle this. I need to recuse myself because my wife is an employee of the school district. Thank you.
So at this time, Mrs. Friedman, I'm going to ask our Director of Human Resources to approach the podium for item B, non-renewal dismissal recommendations.
Good evening. At this time, I request the advice and consent of the school committee on the non-renewal of all 58 non-tenured teachers currently in the district.
Motion to accept that.
Would make a motion to accept the recommendation of the HR director?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it, 6-5-0.
Thank you.
He said it.
Thank you. All right, next is item number C, vote, including discussion, if any, requested by the teacher on teacher A, February 6th, pre-suspension hearing. That vote is canceled. Item number D is canceled. Item number E is canceled. It's been withdrawn. So we'll move on to item number F, discussion and a vote to approve homeschool instruction request for the 2018-2019 school year. Mr. D'Amato.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Yes, this evening we have two new requests and two renewals that we are recommending approval for.
Assistant Superintendent has a recommendation to approve these homeschool instructions. Do I have a motion? Motion to approve by Mr. Hess. Do I have a second? Second by Mrs. Bernardo. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it, 6-0. Next is item number G, discussion and a vote to appoint school committee member to the Public Schools Renovations Building Committee. I had reached out to most of the members here, and Mr. Hess volunteered to serve on this committee at this time, so Mr. Hess would be our appointment to the new building committee that will get put together with the town. So we'll forward his name to the town council. So I need a motion to approve Mr. Hess as the, Mr. Salvatore makes a motion. Seconded by Mrs. Waters. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it, 6-0. Good luck, Mr. Hess. You'll abstain. Good luck. Next is item number H, discussion and a vote to approve the SCR 2019-03 support of the solar power purchase agreement. As the mayor just said, that they are still working on, so we will withdraw that, and we'll come back at another time once they're ready to do this. Okay? No, we're just going to withdraw it completely, okay? So that's withdrawn. Next is personnel recommendations. Vote on retirements, 1, non-certified, there's 2. B, there's vote on appointments, 1 certified, and number 2, 1 non-certified.
This time, I request the advice and consent of the school committee on the retirement of Deborah Bissett, guidance secretary at Cumberland High School, with an effective date of March 1st, 2019, after 30 years of service.
Need a motion? Or do you want to take them all together? We'll take them all
All
together.
together, okay. Additionally, I request the advice and consent of the school committee on the retirement of Judy Thompson, confidential assistant to the Director of Special Education for the Cumberland School Department, with an effective date of September 3rd, 2019, after 13 years of service. I recommend approval on both retirements.
Thank you. So I need a motion? Motion to approve the retirements by Mrs. Waters, so second. Second by Mr. Hess. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it, 6-0. It's a long day. Next.
Thank you. At this time, I request the advice and consent of the school committee on the appointment of Lindsay Larimer, elementary education teacher in the Success Program at B.F. Norton Elementary School, with an effective date of January 21st, 2019, for the 2018-19 school year.
And do you know what the step would be, Mrs.?
The step is step 1.
Step 1, thank you. And the next one,
I'm sorry? Oh,
non-certified?
apologize. I request the advice and consent of the school committee on the appointment of Jennifer Munoz, classroom paraprofessional, also in the Success Program at B.F. Norton Elementary School, with an effective date of February 12th, 2019. Also at step 1, I recommend approval on both appointments.
I need a motion on these appointments. Motion to approve by Mrs.
Mr. Chair, I do
Wallace.
have a question.
Go ahead.
Are these positions budgeted? Have they been budgeted?
These, they had not been previously budgeted.
Okay, okay,
These were
thank you.
additions to the budgeted staff.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do I have a
Thank you.
second? Second by Mrs. Bernardo on the appointments. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it, 6-0. Next is school committee comments and liaison reports. Does anyone have any reports to discuss tonight? None, okay. Mr. Demotta, do we need to go into executive session tonight?
Mr. Chair, we do not this evening.
We do not have to go into executive session. I need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Hess,
Second.
second by Mrs. Friedman. All in favor? Ayes have it, 6-0. Thank you. We'll be able to go home to our wives and husbands.